Hi, this is Nikki DaVaughn, and I'm here for a second time today, but this time with Omar Lozano, Director of Music Marketing for Visit Austin, for a special bonus episode sponsored by Tecovas called Walk a Mile in Their Boots. It's Wednesday, April 23rd. I'm Nikki DaVaughn, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here with Omar Lozano, Director of Music Marketing for Visit Austin. So you are responsible for marketing Austin as, in quotations, the live music capital of the world. Is that a hard sell?
I would say that we've thankfully, developed enough recognition as far as, music and culinary and other things that it isn't. There's a lot of ways that we get creative to make sure people have an amazing time here in the city and inspire trip visitation from people all over the world. So we want them to come see just what an amazing music community we have here, and whether that's festivals or music districts and venues or musicians. We're just really, really proud of our city.
Okay, so let's walk a mile in your boots. What does a regular day look like for you here in Austin?
I support really finding opportunities in everything that we do, whether it's, campaigns, whether it's live events, whether it's festivals around the world. We find opportunities to integrate Austin musicians and Austin music brands. We are one of the first to have a live music specific role in what you call destination marketing companies. So, we have a really deep story in live music. That's a big reason why. So we've been doing this for, over 25 years. I've personally been with Visit Austin for going on 10 years. But, we work with all the departments. Everybody really understands the value of music. And, we're a live music, live events town. So the more that we can bring that to people, the more that we can showcase that to people, really creates an interest in our destination and in our city, and that goes on to benefit all sorts of industries here in the city. So that's a big part of our role.
So since you're in marketing, does that mean that you have to get out into the city on a day-to-day basis to go see what's happening and to go see bands and stuff like that? Do you do that in your day-to-day?
Yeah, that's right. I would say that I am keeping my finger on the pulse of what's happening, musically in the city. You'll catch me at a lot of the festivals, especially the independent ones. I'm a big fan of a lot of the independent festivals that we have here in the city, and giving them support, and because that's where a lot of indie musicians play. Being able to see what's happening in real time, just right outside my office windows, and the nightlife and some of my favorite music districts is important. We want to make sure that we're able to authentically and inclusively promote live music, and really having your finger on the pulse of that is a big part of it. And I've been a part of this community for over 10 years, and not just as in my current role, but also as a participant in the music community, and as a fan, as a performer, and an artist. Definitely a big part of our work here.
So let's talk about that. You've been doing this for 10 years. Why does your work matter in Austin and to Austin?
It's something that I take very seriously as far as being able to represent the music community here. We're a city that's in flux and in change, has become incredibly popular, and a lot has changed, right, from maybe the Austin that a lot of us have known. But, we really want to make sure that those musicians and events that really keep that heart and spirit of Austin alive are featured, are showcased, are engaged with. We also really need to make sure that not just that the tourism industry understands the value of live music, our music community and the events, but that we're also making sure that the music community understands the value of visitors and some of these bigger music moments in cities. So we want both industries to thrive. We certainly want musicians to keep creating music and to be able to stay in the city and work in the city. So we consider ourselves a part of that bigger bigger formula.
Along those lines, because that sounds like a difficult task, what is the most challenging part of what you do?
I would say that the most challenging part of the work is the responsibility in representing an entire music community. Obviously, there's a lot of great people in the community who do amazing work and continue to keep our music community afloat, whether that's all the amazing nonprofits or all the awesome promoters in the city or all the festival organizers or all the musicians and sound people and, bartenders at venues. There's just like such a great ecosystem of people involved that make this music community run. I consider myself a part of that ecosystem, and I have the responsibility of, speaking up for it and making sure that everybody in my community and within different cultural layers understand the value that we have. You mentioned earlier if it was a hard sell, and a big reason why it's not such a hard sell is because it's culturally rich with music, with art, with all these great things that inspire people to come be a part of the community when they visit, and we want people to feel that way. So that responsibility, I take very seriously, and I want to make sure that it's inclusive and diverse, and who we work with speaks to and represents the destination in the best possible way. I'm always on, making sure that we're operating at that high level, and that we can see the bigger picture of our music community, a bird's eye view of what we have to offer, and to also be able to translate that for an average visitor or a convention attendee or somebody coming into town for the first time.
Yeah, I love that. So, okay, now I got to get nosy. I got to get in your business. Who are three awesome musicians that you think we should be keeping our eyes on right now?
Oh, yeah, there's so many.
I know.
No, I mean, it's a good problem to have. Some of my favorite up and coming artists, I'll just list off a few that I've been particularly inspired by lately. One of my favorites currently, they're called The Point. It's a three-piece. And to call them a world music band would be a disservice, I think. They're really inspired by Ethiopian music, by, Middle Eastern psychedelic music, by Latin music.
That. I like how this is sounding. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really positive, and they're all really amazing virtuoso musicians, and they're about to do a big European tour. So I'm just, always so proud to see bands that, we've worked with or that the city's got behind being able to do some amazing stuff like that. So definitely check out The Point. A second one that's, really blown up in the last year, they're called Die Spits.
Okay, yes. Now I have been seeing this. I haven't seen them yet, but I have been seeing this name.
You got to go see them live. They're one of the most powerful, amazing four-piece groups I've ever seen. They just got signed to Third Man Records, which is Jack White's label, and they just announced a global tour.
What?
But yeah, so they're really, really doing amazing work, and it's a band that you would go see at Hotel Vegas and would just leave you like inspired by punk again. They're just everything right about punk rock music and the way that they express themselves. The energy is so beautiful. I would definitely go see them if you get a chance.
And it's all women, right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how they all identify. I think it's a female-fronted group.
Nice.
And yeah, they're an amazing group. So those are kind of two up-and-coming groups to give love to maybe more of a legacy act that continues to do amazing stuff. I would give a shout out to Adrian Quesada.
Oh, yes. Always.
Long
yes.
time. I'm glad you know. Long time Austin community musician, a friend. And he just dropped a new album called Boleros Psicodelicos 2. And I was a big fan of the first one.
The first one was incredible.
Yeah. And it's something that, I think, being a Mexican American and the bolero and ballad format is just such a special style of music that, a lot of like our grandparents grew up with and stuff that we would hear around the house. And to see it in this kind of new format, indie, incorporating a lot of like indie alt Latino musicians from, around the world, I think has been really special. So yeah, a few of my favorites currently.
Adrian Casada is probably one of the most, I think, talented people I think I've ever met. Just the way his mind works, the way he looks at music and breaks down music and thinks about music is just, it's next level. It's like I feel like he can do anything. After the first Bolero album, they had a concert at ACL, and I remember going and just,
I was there. Pal.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Omar, let's talk about it. That's one of the best shows I've ever been to. It was beautiful. It
Yeah,
was
all the
like,
guests.
oh my God, all of the different guests. And it's just, there's something really special about someone who's incredibly talented and also approachable and nice and gracious and wanting everybody to kind of be involved. I have a lot of awe and respect for that man, for sure.
Having a community, high level musician like that can, that is inviting and that has a studio and that, is really interested in moving forward as a city together. I think that's some of the reasons why I'm constantly inspired by the city and the people who are part of it and the ways they want everybody to really win and perform and make a living as a musician. So definitely shout out Adrian.
Yeah, the musician community is amazing. So, okay, my other question, my nosy question is, which venues do musicians want to play in the most? Because I think I have an idea, but I'm curious if it's different than what you think.
On my end as an artist, I have my favorites and places I've played, and I know anecdotally, from musicians, some of their favorites. Obviously, like any chance I get, I really want to give love to Red River Cultural District. It is very much the heart of our independent live music community and venue network. It's where you go to see some of the best performances and some of your favorite band. But, in that space, obviously Empire Control Room and Garage. Mohawk, I think, is a big bucket list for a lot of indie bands and, hip hop acts, I think. And obviously Chirp Charlie's, I think their outdoor stage is beautiful. They have an incredible booking program and also like a DJ program. So you get to see, a really great bit of diverse, queer, trans, and LGBTQ plus type of creators and musicians, and there's certainly no place like it.
We love cheer ups. I can't get enough of cheer ups. I love cheer ups.
Yeah.
So, what is the most surprising thing you found out as the director of music marketing for Visit Austin? Like, what has been the thing that you've been like, okay, did not know that, or did not see that coming, or did not think that was a thing?
So I think one of the most surprising parts of joining this team was, like, I didn't really come from a tourism background. I came from a DIY, independent, music production and festival production background. And, through that, I got involved with essentially positioning brands around culture and music and within live events. So live music, festivals. And I spent many years doing that before I joined Visit Austin. So for a lot of it, I was very much like product focused. I was obviously like embedded in these communities. I was, so excited about authentically positioning products within these spaces, but more so helping out, these subcultures, these bands. Like, at the end of the day, it was a product, right? It was a can. It was something that we were wanting to position. That was the way that was the reason that they gave us money to help bands and to do stuff. Was like the requisite was position that brand, whether it's like on stage branding or, or that they're drinking the product or engaging or really believe in the values. I mean, that took so much work to get, a community to trust you and to become friends with somebody and to support their projects. And that was, really interesting and fun. But I never ever thought of marketing something that didn't have a product, that wasn't a physical product.
Yeah.
Or a physical brand. It wasn't until I joined Visit Austin almost 10 years ago that I was able to, really think of the brand or the product as a place that I was intimately familiar with. I've been coming here since I was 17. sleeping on floors for South by Southwest, for, back in the day, Fun Fest. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Fun fest. Yeah.
so I got this like cool training that I didn't even know I already had, of just being a part of this music community since I was a teenager, coming all the way from El Paso, Texas, where I was born, driving 9 hours with a bunch of crazy friends to experience this, and so, years having been in this space, long story short, the thing I learned is that when the product or the brand is a physical space that you can engage with, that you can engage culturally with, that you're much more likely to have a really amazing brand affinity and experience, assuming you have an interesting city with, plenty to offer, right? Culturally, you can really create this magical moment for somebody in a way that with a physical product takes so much work. I get to take, media and influencers and clients and even other musicians from different cities who, haven't been to Austin before. I get to show them around, this place, that as far as like Visit Austin, is concerned, like it's our brand, right? But it's a space that they leave so inspired and so connected to, so being able to create these types of experiences has really gone to inspire me and helps me not be jaded, because Austin isn't the biggest town in the world. So,
Right.
you see everything, you kind of do everything, and, seeing somebody experience it with fresh eyes and, really grow to love the brand after taking them to see one show or, taking them out for a night, they leave changed. And that's something that I never anticipated being able to do in marketing,
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. You're creating experiences and changing people's lives. I love that.
Sometimes.
So is there anything else that you would like to add that I didn't ask you about that's just you know what, this is what you need to know when you visit about the music scene when you visit Austin?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people think about destinations competitively, like which music scene is the best. And I've never really been a part of that school of thought. But what I do really stress is that each of them offers a very unique experience, right? And if we talk about Austin as a live music capital of the world, which is Visit Austin's brand, it's something that we continue to, protect and develop. But as a part of that, it's not really a quantitative thing. It's very much something that is a brand promise in a lot of ways. Like, you will have an amazing time. You're in for a very special show here in the city, a once in a lifetime type of experience for music. And I think that's what separates our city from other cities. I think it's the format, it's the multi-venue, it's our type of festivals, it's our music community, and it's the way that you're treated, when you're in town. And that's something that is hard to replicate in other places. And again, I'm a world traveler. I love experiencing other music cities, and had been able to, through my travels, been able to see a lot of just amazing music all over, and they all have special things. But I'm certain that our city has something unique to offer for anybody who is even mildly interested in music.
Omar, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me walk a mile in your boots. I appreciate it. I hope I get to see you out and about.
Yes, please say hi if you do. And hopefully we'll catch each other at the show. And that maybe next, when Adrian starts touring this Boleros album, we can go.
We have to, because it's going to be amazing.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nikki. This was a lot of fun. Thank you all very much.
Omar Lozano, thanks so much for joining us on this special episode of CityCast Austin, sponsored by Tecovas. We'll have a link to their Austin stores in our show notes.